Namaskar, hello and a very warm welcome to special online training on open educational resources, that is OER and licenses. I am Tanvi Khurana and this is a 5-day, 5-hour online training on OER and licenses. I really hope that you have seen the first 4 episodes of this proper training, and today we are entering into day 5, and the topic that we are going to discuss is repositories of OER, that is open educational resources. And you are watching us at this moment on either channel number 6 to channel number 12. So if you have any questions, any queries, please reach out to us, raise your questions, and either you can call us on our number, that is 8800440559, or you can even email us on our email ID, that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. Till 5 o'clock, we'll be having an expert with us, and she'll be more than happy to answer all your doubts, all your queries. And if you want to raise your queries through our YouTube channel, that would be NCERT Official and NCERT PM Evidya, channel number 6 to channel number 12. So in all these channels, there's a live chat box where you can write your questions, your queries, and share them with us. We will try to take up your questions as far as possible. And let me just tell you that towards the end of this session, I'll be explaining the process, how you can register yourself and how you can participate in this particular training so that you can get the certificate. So for this, you have to watch all the 5 sessions, including today. Day 1, we discussed open educational resources, that is OER, its concepts, scope and policy. On day 2, we discussed Creative Commons licenses for open educational resources, that is OER. On day 3, we discussed OER for achieving educational goals, and on day 4, that was yesterday, we discussed curating OER for teaching, learning and assessment. Like I said, today we are entering into day 5, and the topic is going to be repositories for OER, that is open educational resources. Now let me please introduce you to our guest for today. We have with us Mrs. Sushumna Rao Tadinada. Ma'am, a very warm welcome to you.
Namaste Tanvi, thank you so much.
Namaskar, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am is an OER advocate and independent edtech consultant from Hyderabad, India. So I welcome once again ma'am to our program, and it's a pleasure to have you on our program once again. So we'll begin with this conversation without further ado, and we would like to ask you, ma'am, what are the repositories of OER that we are going to discuss in this particular program?
Sure, Tanvi, there are various repositories pertaining to India, like taking from our own CIT and CRT's Diksha to many global repositories that I'll be talking about, and I'll also do exploring how to explore these repositories. I'll do a demo at the end of these some slides also. And before that, I would like to share with our viewers about what exactly is a repository, with a recap of open educational resources. I think that makes sense. Little recap,
sure,
which might be needed.
So with the help of your presentation, would you like to explain that?
Yes, sure, definitely. And as Tanvi already conveyed, today's topic is repositories of open educational resources. After 1 hour, you will be equipped with the knowledge needed to explore these repositories. First, you will know what is a repository, and then you will gain some knowledge about exploring these repositories and utilizing open educational resources to enhance your teaching methodologies. I would say teaching learning process. Past 4 days in this 5-day SEMCA NCERT CIT training, you're going through with various OER topics, from the definition, what is OER, to curating OER, right? And let me once again utter this definition as defined by Creative Commons. By now, you all know what is Creative Commons. It's an entity which provides open licenses to these educational resources, right? So according to Creative Commons, open educational resources are teaching, learning, and research materials, either in the public domain or licensed in a manner that provides everyone with free and perpetual permission to engage in the 5R activities. 5R activities, David Bailey's 5R activities are also not new to you. You all got really a good exposure to these 5Rs. The 5Rs, once again, I want to tell you, is retain, revise, remix, reuse, and redistribute. Right? So any educational material which is in public domain, that means all the copyrights are waived, right? You are free to use even commercially, and or they are openly licensed, like with Creative Commons licenses, right? So where you can, depending upon the permissions that they give, either you can retain them or revise, remix, and reuse them, or just redistribute all those materials. So when we see this spectrum, this is from by Shadim in public domain. I have taken this, like the top three licenses, that is CC0 and CC BY SA, share alike. You can see that all these licenses will be really useful to share your resource, to remix if you want to create something new, or even commercial. But the other two with NC is non-commercial usage. They won't permit you to use a commercial, but you can always remix and then redistribute them. You can share them. But then when it comes to ND, that is no derivatives, that you cannot create something new out of it. Right? All these 6 licenses you are already well aware of. With this small graphic, I just wanted to give you a small recap, because today we will be exploring open educational resources repositories, right? So at the end, you can see that in a red, that is all rights reserved. When a C in a circle, when you see, it is a copyrighted. So what many people might ask you, that what's the advantage of having an open license? See, just looking at these symbols, you will understand what you can do with that particular material. When there is something a copyrighted version of any book or a site, an article, you see that if you want to recreate something out of it, you remix, you're just not quoting that material, but you want to create something new out of it because you think that it is really necessary for your students to utilize it in that way. Then you have to write to them, the copyright holder, and or contact them and then give take a permission or a written permission to. But then when it comes to these Creative Commons licenses, just looking at those symbols, right, you will understand what you can do, what kind of a permissions that they give you to utilize that particular information, that particular resource. So let's discuss first now about repository, because you all got a very much good exposure towards what is open educational resources, what are these licenses, how you can utilize it, or how you can curate it. So let us see the repositories today. Repository, as the definition goes, it's a large collection of accessible. When we talk about OER repository, this can be the definition: a large collection of freely accessible, openly licensed educational resources. And it's just not about pertaining to one subject, right? Wide range of subjects, and at a various grade levels, you can discover them, right? There are various platforms that the repositories that we call, which store this plethora of information. Sometimes the materials, the educational resources are very much meticulously aligned with certain frameworks also. For example, if we have our own board's curriculums, and they might be segregated according to that curriculum too. And globally, in various countries, we have various repositories, right? The moment we say open educational resource, you publish it globally so that you will be able to utilize it from other corner of the world, some particular story, you really loved it and you want to use it for a comprehension in your class. When it is released with the open license, simply you can pick it up from that repository and then you can utilize it. Or you can collect these openly licensed materials as a collection. You can utilize it in your teaching learning process, either for an assessment or just to disseminate some knowledge or for a creative thinking exercise. So these repositories are established by different, sometimes government agencies or educational institutions or individual OER enthusiasts or OER advocates, right? So there could be institutional repositories from either from an institution, that is a university, or from a school board. They might collect all this information as a repository. They make it available globally with the open license, the materials. And subject specific resources, we will be discussing some science related simulations repository also, where there all science related simulations are present, or math related simulations are present, right? So like this, repository is a collection of freely accessible, openly licensed educational resources. As I said, when there are openly licensed material are available, you can always adapt them, not adopt, I'm talking about adapt, right? You know that certain licenses allow us to adapt. You can create something new out of it, and you can create a collection of it, right? So this is the way that that is a simple way that you can utilize these open educational resource in your classroom. Remember, these kind of repositories are really useful sometimes. Some platforms also have an option when you log in. You can even bookmark certain resources that you like to utilize in your class in future. Sometimes you might be browsing a repository like any other commercial or shopping site we do. We always favorite it and we keep it, right? Sometime later that you want to purchase it, or you want to utilize it, or you want to read that particular article. Similarly, even some repositories allows you to bookmark useful resources for future use. Also, you can even organize those resources in a personal library. You can create your own folder there, and then you can even organize those resources accordingly. That's the beauty of any repository, especially open educational resources repositories. So now going forward, we'll just look at in one slide about role of these repositories in accessing OER. See, when it is a collection of these open educational resources in one place, right? It's a centralized access that these repositories provide us. Like they serve as a centralized platform where educators, learners, or enthusiasts who want to find any open educational material, a resource, a wide range of materials in one place, just one place. You don't have to go into a browser and then keep searching for something. When you get onto a repository, you might find whatever you want can be inside a repository itself. Either if you want to search for an image or an audio or video, it could be in one place too sometimes, right? Similarly, these repositories maintain certain quality assurance measures also. They often, there are mechanisms that they are there, like a peer reviewed, or sometimes even institutional credibility will be added for a quality assurance, right? And moreover, it is discoverability, that is advanced research functionalities that these repositories provide us. It's really amazing. We will be looking at the demo at the end, right? And also these repositories gives us an opportunity to collaborate with others and share your resources, your thoughts, your creativity. For example, I would like to say a use case here. You found an interesting topic or piece of information. Let it be a mathematics one, or a literature one, or a science related one, and you want to translate it into your language, and you want to utilize it, right, for your localization of that particular piece of information to address your learners' needs, right? So that might be very useful for somebody else whose mother tongue is that particular language and who want to always read something in some information in their particular language, right? So they wanted to collaborate. Sometimes it can happen, and then collaboratively share that particular information globally with everyone, right? So repositories allow them to share not only their materials but also give access to the resources created by others when you form as a collaborative author to that particular piece of information. And also these repositories ensure a long-term preservation of these educational resources, materials, or maintaining access over time, right? That is a preservation and sustainability measures that they take care that repository sustains for the coming years, so that it will be helpful to the future teachers and educators or learners or enthusiasts who wants to look at that piece of information. Similarly, these repositories, especially because we are talking about open educational resource repositories, they support open access. We're providing free and open access educational resources. Not only that, but they also, in a way, in a broader way, if we call it, they support this open educational resource movement globally. They support, because how they support, like the moment sometimes some repositories have an authoring option. With the moment you produce some material over there, or you want to upload it, you want to share it as an OER, they give you, that platform will give you an option to choose open licenses. Okay, not just the repository. Sometimes even streaming media, streaming servers like YouTube also have an option when you upload a video to it. You can select the license, but unfortunately, we cannot select any of these 6 licenses that Creative Commons got, but it's only one license that it supports, CC by 3.0 as of now, if I'm not wrong. So you can mention. And when you're sharing any information, there are ways to share your resource as a OER. If it is a text, a license chooser, I think day 3, you got exposure to that license chooser, how to choose your license and then keep it on your text information. Similarly, that information should be posted in one as a bumper on your video, or if it is an audio at the end or at the beginning, you have to mention that this particular piece of information is with so and so Creative Commons license, right? So that way, in video, you can always have that small liner that goes saying that this video is with so and so license. Similarly, even on a Vimeo platform, if we are talking about videos, that's why I took these 2 examples. So you can select, but in Vimeo, you can select various Creative Commons licenses, whichever is applicable to that particular piece of video you can choose, right? So this way, repositories provide these kind of benefits, from search and discoverability to bookmarking to, and also to create some hubs and groups, or organize your content, or collaborate with others, co-create with others. It is possible. Another use case I would like to share here is, before we look at examples of OER repositories and talk about them, is that you can also involve your students, your learners in this moment, right? Like yesterday in the session, there was a talk about this disposable. Nobody is really talking about disposable assignments, where learners will just write an assignment or submit a project, and then there it ends. No, you can always focus on renewable ones. What you can do, you can give, if they are higher class students, you can give an access to these kind of repositories, and you can ask them to create something together, or you can ask them to repurpose something which is already available. This way, you're not only encouraging your students to be part of this teaching learning process, but also giving them a dynamic assignment, and also you're making them future ready and improving their digital literacy in a way. I want to put it in that way. Okay, so let's move on to examples of OER repositories where the collection of these open educational resources are present. First, let us concentrate on from India, what are all the platforms are there, like from our National Digital Library to various open courses are available in Swayam, right? Sometimes when you access these courses over there, you can see the license terms over there. Now you know that what is the CC by SA or CC by ND. When you look at them, you will understand that that material can be reused and repurposed in such a way, depending upon the kind of permissions that license allows you. Right. Similarly, Diksha, Digital Infrastructure for Knowledge Sharing. That's the acronym Diksha, and this is the full form. This platform by Ministry Government of India, where you will find a user-friendly platform of wonderful materials with open license. Right. When we look at the demo, we'll also look at what license this platform got, or what license each piece of information, the resource it got, we will explore definitely. EPG Patashala and some of ebooks from EPG Pathshala and Swayam MOOCs are put together for UG and PG in e-Akchayan. EPG Pathshala is UGC, by UGC. These are for undergraduate information is available in EPG Pathshala. But whereas in e-Akchayan is a platform to provide more than 700 electronic books for postgraduate courses. All these e-books are, this is what the site says, derived from EPG Pathshala and Swayam. I'm sorry. So from courses to textbooks to lesson plans to many videos to images, many options are available in repositories. When we look at the other repositories, seriously, you have to excuse me, Tanvi, I have a bad cough here. Yeah,
Not
you
at
can
all,
be
ma'am. Please go
talking
ahead.
to the
Yeah.
US. Just a moment.
Ma'am, please have a glass of water if it's nearby.
And I'm trying. And
Okay.
how are the users engaged in this topic today? Are they interested? And
So, ma'am just gave certain examples of OER repositories. You just saw that Diksha is one of the examples, and so is Swayam, and also many such examples, ma'am just notified. So, with this, we are going to discuss more OER repository examples. So, stay with us and let's just continue with this, ma'am.
yeah, thank you, Tanvi. Thank you for that. The weather is so I have a bad cough and cold. Okay, so continuing to our repository examples, we just saw some from India and also globally. When we focus on, first thing that comes to my mind is Wikibooks and Wikimedia Commons. You know, in Wikimedia Commons, you will see a collection of freely reusable, usable media files you will find. Not only that, you'll find anyone can contribute to that platform also. You know, in Wiki also, you can also log in and write and correct or edit some information over there. It doesn't mean that because anybody can write, there won't be any quality education quality material that it provides. But there are wonderful wiki books available. When you look at them, because they're all contributed from teachers like you, learners like you, or some OER enthusiasts like you. There is definitely a wonderful material over there. Please go and search over that. And then when we talk about these open textbooks, like open textbooks licensed by authors, you know, in the Open Education Network, supported by Open Education Networks. In open textbooks, there are wonderful textbooks from various subjects. More than 1,500 textbooks are there in open textbook library you will find. Similarly, LibreText, like you will find, I'm sorry, in LibreText you will find adaptable, user-friendly open educational resources which allows you to customize and to share accessible, not only a simple text-based textbooks, but they are also interactive textbooks you will find over there. And similarly, Sailor Academy, it's again a non-profit initiative working since 2008. Wonderful full-length courses are available in Sailor Academy, you won't believe. The information is so much is already available over there with the open license. I think in yesterday's webinar, there's also a talk that in Diksha platform, they found something interesting which can be utilized in an undergraduate course as some basics they want to introduce. And when they found this OER in Diksha platform, they utilized it. Similarly, maybe in a Lumen Learning or Sailor Academy or open textbooks, you might find something very, very interesting which you want to utilize in your classroom. You can always go ahead and do that from these repositories because they allow you to remix these particular informations, or you can even download those particular e-books from those sites. And when it comes to the simulations, science simulations, right? PhET simulations is quite popular, where earlier they were in flash-based simulations. Now they are revamping, and most of them are already converted to HTML5. I'm very happy to see that there are many contributors from in PhET simulations from India, where they are translating these simulations into our regional languages. I was really happy look at certain translations in Telugu, also some PhET simulations, because Telugu is my mother tongue, by the way. So I also contribute over there. And I see already a teacher contributed so many simulations into region. How he could do that is because these repositories are openly shared and allow you to log in and then repurpose them. Right. Similarly, when you want any skill-based courses information, then you can always search in Skills Commons. And then you want H5P interactive activities with the open license. Of course, all the examples in h5p.org or any content that is available on h5p.org created for a testing purpose by educators or enthusiasts in that platform, they declared that whatever is available in this platform, they are all with a CC Creative Commons license already. But you want to see all of them in one place, like we just discussed, right? All H5P interactivities with the open license. Then you can look at H5P catalog, or you can even see Camry's FSL, that is a French as a second language repository, where you will find interactive or H5P interactivities with the open license even in French, because in our schools also sometimes we see French as a second or a third language, right? Similarly, Storyweaver, I don't know how many of you really came across this wonderful site by Pratham. The story books are like at a level, like they are mapped with our STEM curriculum too. And then you can, to improve our reading comprehension, there are various programs for teachers over there, right? There are not only just materials, they'll encourage you to come forward and even contribute to that particular repository. So these all repositories are built from authors who are OE enthusiasts, open education enthusiasts, open pedagogy practitioners. They create these materials and they come up with something and then they publish it over there. And then we can always, as an end user, we can pick it up. First, my advice to all of you, when you are firstly introduced to open educational resources, first try to understand open licenses, what they are talking to us and what they are explaining to us. It just cannot happen in an hour. You have to go through each license deed. There are wonderful information already available in Creative Commons site, and also about Creative Commons licenses, there is a wonderful wiki book, right? There is so much information already available. Or any of these repositories, when you click, right? When you go over there, when you look at the license over there, when you click on the license, it will anyway take you to that particular license deed page. So first try to explore the licenses, try to understand how they are used, and try to read various use cases, how OER is used. One teacher utilized, of course, this is in a higher secondary, utilized a platform, Flickr platform, conducting a photo competition, a subject-based photo competition, where users can take, their learners can take pictures related to the project, and they can publish over there. And that they formed a group inside of Flickr, and the name of a school, and then they released all these pictures with the open license. And also to encourage her students, they're all released accordingly, like with their name and then with the particular open license. And they also, these days it also became a huge they also awarding some their open for competitions are conducted over there, where they can select the best photograph of that particular semester. They are even awarding them. So first, we should not create a digital dump. First, you have to figure out why am I creating. If you want to create any open educational resource, first you have to think, is it really needed? First, you have to do a need analysis. Or is it already available, something already available? Then don't reinvent the wheel. When there is something already available, you please pick it up and then try to see how you can revise it, remix it, and reuse it and redistribute it. Unless otherwise you won't find anything, then you start creating. Of course, there is a big need for in regional languages, OER is very, very less. We have to create. By the way, during our pandemic, we are all raised up with the latest technological advancements in our teaching learning process. Similarly, even OER, it created really massive impact, because the disruption it caused, that everything was shut down and no access to anything. But except, thank God, we have this wonderful box where we can globally interact with others, right? During pandemic, educators, learners, and they could figure out quickly, find reliable resources. And they could also, some learners utilized open courses from MIT to master in certain fields. Right? There are online textbooks, high quality video collections, simulations, interactive question answer modules. During pandemic, when you have to conduct these digital classes, the teachers really well utilize these simulations to give their learners for some practice purposes. So this is from a report, Open Educational Resources and report, that you can look at these various repositories, how much they were utilized during that time, and the way people accessed and then grabbed some information. Actually, to be very frank, I think during the pandemic, the awareness about OER spread much more. The decades of, what I must say is, decades of open pedagogy enthusiasts and OER advocates work really showed in that from that period onwards. That's what honestly I feel. Okay, so till now, Bahut Bhashan, it's everything. I talked about repositories. Now I just want to introduce these repositories, the logos first. First, try to. I think these logos, maybe you are familiar with a few of them. Diksha, you are well aware of. Swayam, you are well aware of. FED, I'm talking about these simulations, right? Similarly, Medlot is another repository, Skills Commons. And I talked about Storyweaver. We will also explore that, how the books were arranged over there. And Open Textbook Library, LibreText, and OER Commons, and OpenStax textbooks. But before you really search in any repository or directly search in a browser, there are three important steps that you have to follow in the search process, right? Because OER is available in multiple formats. So first, you have to identify a keyword. Think about the main concept of your topic. Okay, the concept of your topic. Or use, searching is again an iterative process. Use synonyms, related terms to search. First, write all of them or keep it in a notepad or somewhere. Okay, and always go for advanced research options in the repositories if they provide, or like a subject at what level, grade level that you want to search, or what kind of a resource that you want to search. Also, you can utilize a Boolean operators like and, or, not. You can utilize in between the words or the phrases, so that it will be the discoverability discoverable chances are pretty high. The keywords are important because metadata, when they create any resource, right? They give some keywords over there. So that's why we have to identify those. First, you have to identify the keyword, what you want to search for. And then they might have already given that keyword there. So discoverability will be pretty easy. And once you discover, once you get the search result, always you have to evaluate. In a talk, I think you have seen that evaluation checklist also. You have to check for the relevance of quality resources. You have to consider the date of publication and updates. For example, if you are searching for a help file on a Creative Commons and you found something from 2010 or 2008, right? You think that that is the latest. You have to see, because after that there are a lot of developments happened even for open license. I just gave an example over here. Similarly, for any science or a math or environmental education subject, or for a language or a literature, there might be some changes might have taken place. And also what you have to check for is the when is this particular piece of information is updated, because in many repositories they do provide this kind of information. If it is pretty old and it allows you, that license allows you to remix and create something new where you can add some new information, yes, you are always can do, depending upon the permission that license will give. And then you once you are ready, with your search result, and then when you evaluated it, and then when you are ready to republish it with a open license again, where do you want to publish? There are platforms that offer you, there are the same repository might offer you. Here you can see on the top is that OER Commons platform, and below is a Diksha platform. And then sometimes they even give you an option to contribute over there. You can go and contribute in some of the repositories. But how to talk about how you can utilize this OER, what role they play in a diverse classrooms, or in a inclusivity. When you talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is a really a major topic these days to address everybody. Here, what I mean everybody is even for people who are utilizing assistive technologies to use these open educational resources, like even for Divyangan, you have to make sure that there's many platforms offer accessible open educational resources. You have to look for those resources, right? Multiple formats, the same resource can be available. You have to figure out that. And also very, very important is maybe when you're talking about a literature or a language lesson you are teaching the kid, right? So you have to take examples of the words. Maybe you are introducing simple words over there, right? The word related to the context over there and the geographical area, the culture that you are in. So you have to, that culturally responsive pedagogy is also very, very important. So you have to figure out that kind of a content. And also you have to, we see that this content is available multilingual, right? In Diksha, you see them in Hindi and also in English. So that it can reach many. It is to make it accessible to all. So supporting special education, some repositories also provide, the moment you create any OER in that repository, they even provide the same material, text material. If you provided a proper, if you used a image and you provided a proper alt text, they even make it available for Braille. Right? Even in Diksha, sometimes you find accessible learning materials for them, for people who use assistive technologies, right? That is also available. Okay, now it's time for us to do some demo, but then what I'll do here is, let me talk about more minutes, maybe 2 or 3 more minutes, then I'll do a demo. I want to talk about future trends, right? You have seen how the accessibility of these open educational repositories are growing day by day. As I showed you, even in pandemic, it's suddenly the spike was there. So they are not only adapting it, and they're also adopting OER directly. Sometimes you may find the entire textbook very much aligned with your curriculum. then you don't have to really go for any other textbook. Simply you can provide these links to your students, right? So this is growing, this culture is growing, and then technology integration is enhanced if you compare past a decade, right? And then there is an opportunity, thanks to technology, that collaboratively we could author some materials. Also some platforms making us to do a peer reviews. And then we just talked about accessibility, right? So with that inclusivity and diversity, where we can get into our classrooms even through OER, because they are available in different formats and different ways, and they provide you an option to create resources in your own language, because most of the OER are in English most of the times. When you find a quality OER, definitely it will be in OER, in a English language. Then definitely you can go and translate it into your own regional language, addressing diverse cultures and diverse learners. So sharing is caring. I always remember David Byles' this beautiful quote: "The beauty of OER is not just that it provides free access to educational resources, but that it opens up the possibility for educators and students to innovate, customize, and create new learning experiences." This is the essence of teaching learning, right? We have to provide for our learners a possibility to innovate, right? Innovatively, they can think about what they can do with this piece of information. So you're in a visual medium class and you want to give them, or you're in a language class sometimes, you found something interesting text piece, and then you want to ask your students, hey, come up with, because everybody these days, they have smartphones in their hands or with their parents, right? You can give parent and a kid together a project work where a kid will talk in that particular language that you are teaching, convert that piece of information, and then get that video to you. And then the same can be published with an open license. Already these kind of projects, student-led OER creation, is already popular over there. Anyway, so let's move on to the demo now, Tanvi.
Absolutely, ma'am. Ma'am, so in the meanwhile, I have a question for you. So may I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you did explain very beautifully about what repository is exactly, and you gave certain examples, and you also told us about OER in diverse and inclusive classrooms. But here we want to know that, do these repositories have teacher instructions too on how to use the material?
Yeah, actually, one of the repositories that I might be sharing right now definitely have a teacher instruction, we call it, right? Like how they can utilize in the classroom. It is given in many of the repositories. That's the beauty of these repositories. A teacher it's already kind of it's not, I won't say tailor-made, but definitely there is some information already available. You can just it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You can take it and then you can create something new, and along with the instructions, what the teacher can do with that particular piece of information, which is, I think, is a boon to many teachers, where one teacher handling 4 or 5 classes, because we know such kind of schools exist in various areas, right? So for them, I think, Tanvi, this is very useful when they have not only a piece of information, but also to utilize the instruction piece, so the teacher won't have to sit and figure out how I can use this information. I hope I addressed your query.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have to share it again here. I'm not able to share it.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, so I will be sharing now the repository with you. Is first, let us see Diksha itself, so that they will understand in Diksha how we can see the licenses. This is a story weaver, by the way. Yeah, this is a Diksha platform. I hope you all can view my screen.
Right.
And Yeah. So, okay, let me pick up something, maybe
Okay.
physics part one. I want to see. See, here you can always, from your board and your medium class subject, you can
Yes.
select various courses and various resources are available. Let us see the license information also on the site. You can clearly see the terms and conditions. All content here is licensed under Creative Commons unless otherwise stated. See,
Right.
you have to understand these wordings also. A collection means this, like
Okay.
collection means it doesn't matter that everything should be with this license. There might be some openly other open license materials inside this collection. If anything that is there without any license, then it is that's what it says. All content here is licensed under Creative Commons attribute. Like just you have to give an attribution. CC by license we call it 4.0, right? That is the version 4.0. Otherwise, it is stated something different. Let us look at one maybe here physics. English में देखेंगे या हिंदी में, maybe in English because it is a English session. And yeah, here is I accessed this textbook, and then here you can see credits and license information. It clearly stated that it is CC by SA 4.0. For details, see below. You can always click on this link and then read the license date, what you can do with it particular piece of information. So though the site says it is with CC BY, the collection, that's what I meant. Even Creative Commons says the same thing. The collection can contain different openly licensed resources in a like we call it here, a collection is a repository, right? Similarly, I want to show you Pressbooks directory here. It's an open textbooks directory here. The interactive textbooks are available in Pressbooks directory. I just want to search Telugu if there is anything available. In Telugu, if there is any openly available textbook, I just want to search for. Yeah, there is a one teacher who created, comprehensions, how to write a comprehension, and then examples of Telugu comprehensions, along with questions and interactive activities are provided, or you can, the viewers or the users who are using it, they can simply download this book or just access each of these chapter, each of this comprehension. This is the text and this is the these are the questions based on that. I'm sorry. And then this is the interactive activity. Similarly, not just Telugu, see, Telugu, I just got one book here. I'm sorry. This is what I meant. There's a need of the hour is to create already existing materials into localizing our content, right? Similarly, I talked about Storyweaver. I'm sorry. Storyweaver. Here you can find various storybooks, and then they national celebrating reading with us, and also you can discover some resources here. Reading program for grade 1 to 8. Maybe when we take Hindi or English, maybe I'll click on English here. You can later explore. One can even register into this, and then they can start creating storybooks here. They provide even images over there. I'm so sorry. Or not only that, you can also translate, you can contribute to this particular piece of information. This is, for example, reading. This is a grading program for class 5 and 6. This is nature at the best. This is one thing. And then what, these are the books. And then what, if you are giving, a teacher is giving as a at-home activity, what they can give. If it is a in-classroom activity, how they can utilize it. If it is a digital classroom activity, how they can utilize it.
Okay. So, ma'am, we don't have much time left. So, I would request you to just answer this question we have received from our viewers. The viewer is Kruti Hegre, and she's asking images from Pixabay and Pixels. They also have open licenses. Is she right?
No, I mean, they might be open license, but they have their own conditions over there.
Okay.
It is not allowing us to, it is allowing you to share. But anytime, any moment, if the license terms changes, we won't be knowing, right? That particular, they have their own license. Pixabay got its own license.
Okay.
They say it is openly available. But then is it with the open license? Open license is either Creative Commons from, public domain to these licenses.
Okay.
Or they must have, they should have their own open license, not a Pixabay license. They
Okay.
have a Pixabay license, if I'm not wrong. They don't have a open license. They have Pixabay license.
Pixabay license. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Okay.
just want to share a very important thing here about
Sure.
OER Commons. As I said, when you register, when you log in here into
Yeah.
this site, you can create groups also, or you can even search for groups. Okay, you can search for, you can see all groups, or you can be part of another group. You can collaborate with others. Here, I registered myself, and then I was searching. For example, there is one group, grade 5 mathematics. If I want to join that open group, uh, and see, this is mathematics group. If I want to join, I can simply go and join any of this. If it is class 5 mathematics, if it is open group, I can always go and join this group, and then I can contribute to this particular group. There are two already information which is sources. Yesterday, I think Dr. Indira Koneru created this class 5 mathematics group in OER Commons. It is an open group. Anybody can come and contribute to this. Before
Sure.
that, in OER Commons, you have to register. It's a free. And then there is a wonderful video on this, how you can contribute to this platform.
Sure.
So similar way, there are various platforms, repositories that they are offering us in like Open Textbook Library. I mentioned Sailor Academy. Or LibreText.
LibreText.
But one more interesting is even 3D models are available with Creative Commons
Absolutely.
license.
So, ma'am, we do not have much time, although you have showed us each and everything where one can have free access to educational resources. So, I'm sure the teachers, they are going to have this access and make the best use of it.
So,
thank you.
you have a question?
Ma'am,
Sorry?
we do not have much time for a question answer session, but you have answered actually all the questions. So, thank you so much for being a part of this
Thank
program.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Zanna.
So, thank you to all the viewers with us, be it a teacher, be it a student, or the teacher educators, administrators, all of you whosoever watched this program, and if this was helpful to you, I'm sure you will be watching the entire training. If you have missed the first 4 sessions, you can even watch those sessions on our YouTube channel, that is NCERT Official. So now let me quickly show you how you can have you yourself registered on this for this training, and if in case you score 70% and more marks, then you will get the certificate. So what is the process? Let me just show you. All you have to do is open your browser and type CIET on it. So just go ahead with me. Once you type CIET on it, this is the home page you will be getting. You can see the menu bars here. In the activities column, if you click on it, the third last option is workshop/training. Please click on it. Once you do, scroll it down a little, and here you can see in the current activity, the type, the name of the online training is mentioned, that is OER and licenses. Please click on it. Once you do, you can see a separate page will open, and this is the schedule, the details of this entire training. Let me tell you that this entire training has been organized by CIET, that is Central Institute of Educational Technology, NCERT, New Delhi, in collaboration with CEMCA, that is Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia. The schedule has been mentioned, the dates have been mentioned, who all can participate. This also has been mentioned. So scroll it down, the objectives, you can read it out. The schedule in detail from day 1 to day 5 has been mentioned, and here you can just click on this particular link or scan this QR code and register yourself. And scroll it down a little bit further. Here is the link of our YouTube channel. Please click on it, and once you do, you can watch all the sessions from day 1 to day 5. Now, if you scroll a little bit further here, this is the process how you can take up the online course. You have to participate in the post assessment and get yourself certified. Join the online course that will be launched on Diksha portal. The course link will be updated on this page on the last day of the training by 7 p.m. That is today by 7 p.m. A couple of hours more and the link will be updated. So you'll have a lot of time to participate in this post assessment till 30th of March 2025. So that's a lot of time. You need to join the course, go through all the 5 videos. Participants need to take up the final assessment and participants can attempt thrice this assessment. So you will get 3 chances. All of you, if you score 70% and above in the final assessment, you will be getting the certificate and you can access your certificate in your Diksha profile page itself. It will take 15 to 20 days to receive the certificate, so please have some patience. And for the feedback, here is the QR code and here is the link. You have to click on it, and if you have any suggestions, any feedback, any advice for us, then please feel free to share it with us. With this, we are wrapping up our online training on OER and licenses. For any questions, any queries, we have this one permanent email ID, that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. And thank you so much for being a part of it. All the best for the post assessment, and I'm sure you will be getting 70% and above, and you'll be getting the certificate as well. With this, thank you so much once again. And the upcoming program that we have for all of you is a special program titled Sayog. The title that will be discussed would be Developing Assertiveness. So keep your questions ready and keep on watching eVidya channels. I'm Tanvi Khurana. I'll take a leave of you. Namaskar.